those 6 or 7 issues. Number one is inclusivity, and especially the matter of cost of living. The people of Kenya have spoken with clarity on how they want our country to be much more inclusive, and for us to be able to have a society that leaves nobody behind. We have done 5 issues on this subject of inclusivity and cost of living. Number one, we now have a policy on the marginalized in Kenya. We have provided bursaries for their children. We have provided many other interventions that will assist minorities, people who perceive to be marginalized, for them to be brought into the bracket and so that they are not left behind. We have deliberately dealt on matters that finally dictate cost of living. And there are 4 matters that dictate cost of living: cost of food, cost of fuel, because it influences our transport, the cost Kenyans pay for healthcare, and the cost Kenyans pay for their children to go to school. We have addressed all the 5 issues. Number one, on food inflation, on matters to do with food, we have transformed our agricultural sector. We can confidently stand here and say we did, over the last year or 2 years, we have produced more maize, we have produced more tea, more coffee, more sugarcane, and the whole productivity space has risen. It is the reason why today the prices of unga are different from where they were in 2022. We have made a commitment to that. Number two, we have managed our economy well. That is why fuel inflation has come down. Cost of fuel was 218 at some point per liter. It has come down by almost 30%. And it is because we have taken deliberate steps to stabilize our currency and to make sure that we don't pay more for fuel because our currency is not behaving. We have done the third thing on matters to do with school fees. You all remember we have undertaken education reform. We've raised the budget for education from 500 billion. This financial year, it was 702 billion. The budget that we're going to read in July is 765 billion. Why are we raising resources on matters education? Because we are putting more money in making sure that every child goes to school. We have not only hired more teachers, because if government does not pay for those teachers, boards of governors pay for them, which means parents pay for them. We've hired more teachers to lift up the burden on parents from paying board of governors teachers. Number two, we have reduced fees for our university and TVET institutions by between 10 and 40%. The committees on education are here. We have also, as of this week, reduced the fees for our TVET institutions from 105,000 per year to now a standardized 67,000 per year. You heard the Minister for Education announce that this week. It is because we want to make sure that we lift the burden of parents on matters to do with school fees. And that is the standardized fee. And then we will now go in with all the bursaries. The counties are given all the bursaries. The NGCDF is giving. And we have signed agreements with counties. You remember the Comptroller of Budget, this raised issues on counties supporting bursaries. The Ministry of Education has signed with all the counties. Now, county governments can give bursaries to all our children because there are no children for national government or county government. That is a step in making sure that we reduce the burden on parents on matters to do with the education of their children. You all know that also we have lifted a heavy load that would otherwise be borne by Kenyans on matters to do with universal health coverage. Today, as the numbers we have been told here, we are actually closing to 30. I think by next week or the week after, 30 million Kenyans will be on social health insurance. And this week, forget about the propaganda in the headline of the news that we lost, some 50 billion can be lost. You know, people are mad. If we lose 50 billion, it means there will be nothing to pay, no hospital. This week alone, we are paying 16.2 billion shillings, this week alone, for PHC and for SHIF. This week alone. We are paying the highest amounts of money to any hospital that has ever been paid under any other administration or under any other program. That is the reality. That is a fact. So, in terms of cost of living, we are dealing with health to reduce bills paid by citizens. We are dealing with education to reduce bills paid by citizens. We are managing fuel to reduce transport costs. We are dealing with food so that we can reduce the cost of living. So I want members of this PG to walk with your heads high. This administration, the administration you have formed, is tackling cost of living head on. And finally, we are making sure that more Kenyans have income. Today, I report to this PG, we have 1.8 million Kenyans who are not working in 2022. Today they are working. 1.8 million. 640,000 in our housing program, 540,000 in export of labor, 300,000 in our digital platform. We have close to 820,000 under our Nyota program. 120,000 of them, we have given them grants. And I have been to those meetings in person. I have met the 120,000 young people myself. Yeah? Many people were trying to give me small lectures. What is the president doing? Going to give out checks to young people. And I told them, this is how I choose to spend my time. You decide about yours. Okay? Because I believe the young people of this country deserve my time. And time spent with those young people, talking to them, is time well spent as far as I'm concerned. And I have asked the Deputy President and the ministry is concerned to look at opportunities, and we are discussing with our partners to look at opportunities to expand that program. We believe it is a successful program. Many young people have stepped forward, and we believe we can do more and maybe extend that program to close to 2 million young people in Kenya. And in this particular one, we made a deliberate, intentional decision that this is going to be young people between the ages of 18 and 29, because that is where the heaviest load of our young people are. So, cost of living, for those of you who are taking notes, and I suggest you do, because I see some other people, they cannot explain themselves. We've dealt with food inflation. We've dealt with fuel inflation. We have dealt with inflation that comes from Kenyans spending on education. We spend with the transport costs. You don't hear matatus hiking costs because the cost of fuel has gone up. We have dealt with more Kenyans that are working today. That is dealing with cost of living head on. And that is what we are doing together with you guys. Devolution is a principle we committed ourselves to. In the 10-point agenda, we said we must be deliberate about devolution, because devolution is the single most important instrument. In fact, it is the heart of the new constitution, making sure that resources and the power to decide on those resources goes to the grassroots. What have we done on devolution ever since we agreed on this 10-point agenda? Number one, we committed that we are going to increase the shareable revenue. Last year, we increased 30 billion from 385 to 415 billion. This year, we are going to increase from 415 billion by another 35 billion to 450 billion. That is the commitment we made to ourselves that we would do. Number two, in the past, disbursements to devolved units would go, and by the way, I'm talking about shareable revenue. I'm not talking about all the resources that go to the counties. Aside from the 415 billion that's going to counties, we have another 70 billion that is going to counties. That is close to half a trillion to the counties. We might be asking a few questions to our governors. Yeah? So next year, definitely, when we do the 450 shareable revenue, we will be going towards 550 billion. We'll have crossed the half a trillion line on resources going to our counties. Number two, and so that before Anyang' Nyong'o tells us we do more, yeah? and we are going to do more. In the past, money meant for devolution, some of it would be carried over to the next year because not all the monies were disbursed. I stand here today. For the last 2 years, we have not carried over a single cent. We have paid all the monies for devolution. At the end of the year, we made sure that we didn't cross over with any. That is going to be the same this year. We will not carry over any resources. We will pay money meant for devolution to devolution. The yearly commitment will be met. Number three, in order to enhance the efficiency of devolution, especially the efficiency of accountability, we made a commitment under the 10-point agenda that we are going to support the county assemblies to be autonomous and independent so that they can carry out their oversight role properly. Parliament, both houses, did agree with us. They brought the bill to me. I signed the bill, and from this June, in the next budget, county assemblies will have their own independent budgets. They will no longer need to make friends with the county governments or to be friends of governors for them to get their resources. They can then, hopefully, we are going to be expecting of the county assemblies to exercise their oversight mandate much more robustly, because now they will not have excuses that in case they are too tough on the governors, they may lack the resources for their county assemblies.